Now that we have gone into the text design in somewhat more detail, I would like to show you next how we can insert our own graphics into the Quick Titler. I will move my text lines up to the top somewhat and change the tool. And we can find directly under the text tool is a tool that is called Image. And when I select it, the template library changes here, and I can see a selection of images that appear to have been supplied by the Quick Titler. I will simply select one of them. For example, this one here, and at first nothing happens. When, however, I double-click here, the object is placed in the window. And much like in my text box, I have a control frame around my object. And by dragging, I can adjust the image. The same rules apply as those that applied to our text tool, and that is that as long as the fixed aspect ratio is not selected, I can adjust and distort the image how I wish. I'll undo. And now, by using the Shift key, the aspect ratio is kept. I could of course specify that the fixed aspect ratio is active in the properties. This would mean that I can only adjust the image with the aspect ratio being kept. I'll deselect it for now so that I can distort it on purpose. And we have another method to bring the image back to the correct aspect ratio. This is the original size button. If I click on it, then the image is put back to its original size and the original aspect ratio. I'd like to fix the aspect ratio, so I'll keep it selected here. And if we now look around in this section, we can see that the image properties are very similar to the text properties, and we have many of the same functions. I also have a fill color section. I obviously can't specify a color as this is specified by the image itself, but I can specify a transparency, meaning I can adjust how transparent the image is over my background. Now I would like to change the content of my image, and I can do this as long as it is selected here by choosing something else, for example this one. Double-click and the image is replaced. Or for example this logo, double-click and it is displayed here, but I can quite clearly see that the size is not correct, as this is kept from the first image, the ball image. But to solve this problem, I simply choose Original Size, and now it is clear that it is better, but it doesn't seem to be differentiated enough from the background, and is also rather small. I'll move it here and enlarge it. And now I can choose some of our options from the image properties, and I can use these options to increase the readability. I'll go here, for example, to Borders. Here, I can specify a contour for my graphic, and this will, of course, increase the readability substantially. And fundamentally, we have the same possibilities available to us as we had for text. And so I won't go over these once more. Apart from border, there is also the shadow possibility, which gives the image a shadow. Right now, this is white, and it looks strange, so I will change it to black. Adding some transparency to the shadow would obviously be a nice touch here. And as the text is rather fine, I would like to move it somewhat closer to the text so that it does not stand out as much. And in doing so, the readability is increased even more, and the shadow suits it much better. And of course, I can combine both options by giving it a border and a shadow. But in doing so, once again, I have to increase the shadow spacing so that the shadow is more clearly visible. So those are the possibilities available to me for graphics. Basically, they are the same as the options we have already seen for text. In addition, we also have the possibility to blur. For example, I could give my shadow a soft edge. And this combination would probably look better than if my shadow wasn't blurred.